bringing you the latest news from Frenship Athletics. This is the Tiger Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Welcome back in. This is the High School Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and Fox News Now. I'm Randy Rosetta. We're going to jump into the Tiger Fan Zone. This is where we're going to run through some of the playoff stuff because Trent Hilliard, the girls basketball coach, is here. His team went down to Monahans, and great start the other day against El Paso Eastwood. I was listening to it as I was driving to Abilene. 15-0, like out of the chute.
It was. We got after them. They Bollinger hit outside, and she was hitting deep ones that they weren't ready to defend, and we were running the floor and distributing it, and they came down against our 1-2-2, and it was tough for them to find some openings, and then when they did, they were just in a hurry to shoot, keep Jada from blocking it, and they couldn't get anything to go down, and so it's 15-0 before you knew it, and 22-2, I believe, at the end of the first quarter. And
human nature. You got it up to, I think, the 33-point lead at one point.
34. Yeah, we had a 34, and then they went on a run. They hit 9 3-point shots in the fourth quarter. That can be a week for some teams. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You start getting hot like that. And the crazy thing was their best shooter went out at the end of the second quarter with a knee injury, and those other kids just started lighting it up from deep, and when you have that situation, you're down, you're just throwing it up and hoping, and all of a sudden some things go in, you get a little confidence, and that basket just got bigger and bigger and bigger for them, and they started knocking them down. But it was never a game like where they closed it and we're going because 10 points was the closest it got there, that final score, but they certainly did. And you got to admire a team that does that just keeps pushing and pushing, and no quit in them, and that says a lot about them and their coach. And I'm sure she was proud of them and the effort they put forth after the game, despite losing. To know that you were down 34 and you just kept plugging away and giving your best shot, then again that says a whole lot about Eastwood and Coach Falk over there.
And I'm going to guess, I've been around coaches long enough, that game gave you some coachable things to work on because...
Absolutely. We watched some film yesterday, and that's the advantage of us. We had the opportunity to play Thursday or Friday, and we went ahead and said Friday works for us. We were able to get ACU, which is a great venue. Yep. Friday's a lot better usually for parents to get off early and get to travel. You're not in a rush to get back after the game because you don't have school the next day. Do that. So it worked fine. It gives us an extra day to kind of recover and go over things. So we spent yesterday going over us and what we needed to do and take care of things. And then we just missed a little early because the Southlake and Mansfield Legacy was playing at 5:30. And so we get the kids home, and if they wanted to watch that game last night, then they could. And so we did that, and again watched the film to see where our breakdowns were, how they were able to score and do that. And then today we started focusing a little bit more on Southlake Carroll,
which he mentioned it a couple times there. I forgot to sneak that in. Area round matchup. Frenship takes on number 3 in the TABC rankings.
Depends on which poll you look at. I think in TGCA they're number 2. Okay. TABC, I'm not sure, maybe 6 or something like that. Max Preps has them at number 9.
They're good.
They're 31-1.
Yes, when you've won that many and lost that many, that you're good. It's Southlake Carroll. That will be 6:30 Friday at Moody Coliseum on the campus of ACU, and Trent hit the nail on it. Has a great venue. It's not too big for a high school game, but I'm going to guess you'd like some folks there to help make a little noise.
Absolutely. We're hoping that we can get a good crowd. We take some of our JV kids with us, and they do a great job of cheering for us, and it's kind of their reward. They're our scout team during this time, and so we load them on the bus, and some coaches would suit them out. They work better for us being in the stands and being loud and cheering and doing all that, and so they do a great job, but they get a little taste of what the playoffs like and the situation as well, and kind of helps prep them for when it's their time.
And you played Southlake Carroll a few years ago, so it's not a completely foreign concept to your girls. That was a little bit different Southlake Carroll team. But your girls are used to being in the playoffs, and they're used to going fourth round last year.
We are, right. We went to regional finals last year. Matter of fact, the other night we won. That was our 11th consecutive by-district championship. So, our kids are used to it, and you never want to assume anything. You see upsets like what happened to Amarillo High the other night.
Estacado girls.
They upset Brownwood, and so you've got to be ready to bring it, and I know our kids are excited about the opportunity that we'll have on Friday. You
have some seniors, not hugely senior, but I mentioned to you, you've got one senior who's, you talked about how well Eastwood shot the other day. We'll come back and talk about Addison Bullinger and how well she has shot. I'm curious, she may not be missing shots in practice, let alone in games. Coming up on our first break, we'll be back in the Tiger Fan Zone after this on 100.7 The Score.
Diving headfirst into Frenship athletics. You're listening to the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Welcome back in. This is the high school fan zone, specifically the Tiger Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and Fox News Now. We're talking to Frenship girls coach Trent Hilliard, whose team won a 10th straight district championship, 2-6A champion. Will be the last one, at least for now.
Yeah, we'll be moving to 5A for sure. So
if we're sitting here talking about you winning 11 in a row, then you will have had a really good. Whoever wins that district is going to have a really good season.
Yeah, for sure.
And as he mentioned, 11th by district win in a row, coming off of a season when they went 4 rounds deep. They've got a challenge on Friday, no doubt. They're playing Southlake Carroll, which I've stuck with TABC when I mentioned the rankings because it's basketball coaches. I trust basketball coaches quite a bit, so we'll stick with that number. I know you guys have number 3, and your fellow ISD folks Memorial, they're playing number 1 in 4A. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's a big test week for the Frenship teams. We were talking about Addison Bullinger before the break, and I had you full disclosure. Addison Bullinger and my daughter Darby have gotten to be buddies from working at Bahama Bucks. They're very, very different people. My daughter's not. She did not inherit much height, so she's a little bitty thing, and she's not a basketball player. But they hit it off, so I've enjoyed getting to know Addison a little bit in the background. You were talking about it. She's a great shooter. Sometimes, once in a while, you can kind of see if she misses one or two, it bounces around in her head a little bit. She's a high school young person. Well, she hasn't had to slump her shoulders lately. 10 against Midland Legacy?
No, she hit 10 against Odessa High.
Okay, Odessa High.
And broke her record of 3-pointers in a game that she had set the previous year against Odessa Permian. So she hit 10 in that game, and then came back and hit 7 in our by-district game in the first 3 quarters.
And 3 in the first quarter and 5 at halftime. I was listening close enough there. Now, Jada Jackson had a huge day, too. Your whole team played well from listening to choice. You had players, Emily Lent, doing some different things.
Right.
Phillip. But when you're like a lot of teams, when Addison is shooting well, you guys become a little bit different team.
For sure. You extend the defense out, and that opens up opportunities for Jada to get in there and move. It also opens up opportunities for others to be able to drive to the basket, catch and shoot, do some things. So, at this point of the season, you hope that all the kids know what their role is and understand that. And so I think they know that Addison and Jada are going to be our 2 leading scorers just about every game, and so their role is to play solid defense, rebound the basketball, and then take advantage of scoring opportunities when those come, and they do a great job of that. And that's what you've got to have at this point. When you get to the end of the season, you've got to have everybody that understands what they bring to the team. And we talk about it all the time. Everybody is important. Your role is important. Your role's different than the person next to you's role is, but everybody has to do that and play your role. And then sometimes your role changes, even in the midst of a game. You may have to handle the ball a little bit more. Someone's pressing. You may have to shoot if they're doubling somebody or doing things like that. So you got to understand that, and that's where having kids that are experienced and been in this situation before, having seniors that have been there, like Bollinger and Emily Lent and Maisie Beam. That we've got 3 seniors that start for us and understand that. Of course, Jada feels like a senior because she's just a junior, but been playing for 3 years, and so you've got a lot of experience out there on the floor, and those kids understand, and they also understand the urgency of its playoffs. And if you don't bring it, then you're done. And so you've got to be locked in and ready to go from the get-go. And I was impressed with our kids the other night that they did. They put it on them early and just kept stretching that lead out. And that's kind of what you've got to do. You've come out of the locker room ready to play.
And you hit on this. Southlake Carroll's coach is going to know who your top 2 scorers
Absolutely.
is. You can't hide that. That sense of urgency is big for you guys because now those players that have been there and watched it and played in it, now you're going to need somebody else ready to shoot the ball in clutch situations. There can't be any hesitation or any shyness. They got to be ready to go.
Right. You've got to be and ready for anything. You don't know when foul trouble is going to happen, and somebody has to sit, and you've got to bring some people off the bench and do some stuff. So. We're confident in all of our kids. We tell them all the time, you wouldn't be here if you didn't earn it. You've earned the right to put on the Frenship uniform, and that's something that a lot of people before you are counting on you to step up to the plate and represent the Tigers.
What are, real quick, 2 things that you have to do well Friday night for you to still be practicing the next day?
Rebounds, number 1. They are a rebounding machine. So we've got to rebound the basketball, and then we got to handle the ball. Can't have turnovers. So rebound and not have turnovers.
These are battle-tested Tigers, so we're going to see what happens Friday night at Moody Coliseum at ACU. Frenship 28-8, Southlake Carroll, I show 32-1, 31-1 in the Class 6A Division II area round. We'll be back after this break to talk some Lubbock Cooper softball on 100.7 The Score.